T-minus 15 minutes and 40 seconds and counting.
My name is Brian, and I'm part of the software team here, and I'm standing just outside Mission Control as the crowd gathers behind me. We're all anxiously awaiting this very first test flight of Falcon Heavy. Now today, SpaceX has over 6,000 employees in locations across the country, but it wasn't always like that. Now when SpaceX was first founded in 2002, it was just a small group of engineers who believed that they could reduce the cost of exploring space, but had never actually built a rocket themselves. Now, Falcon 1 was the first rocket we developed, and it was pretty small relative to Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. While the Falcon Heavy on the right of your screen is over 230 feet tall, Falcon 1 stood only about 70 feet tall and could only carry about half a ton to orbit. However, despite its small size, Falcon 1 served a very large purpose. It was our roadmap to using modern technologies to engineer a vehicle that was not just more reliable, but less expensive than all. We tested the Falcon 1 before we found success. But on that Falcon 1 flight, it became the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to reach Earth orbit. Now fast forward to today, and SpaceX has had 49 successful launches. We have recovered 21 first stages, and we have flown 6 of those. We have had 14 Dragon launches and have successfully reused the spacecraft. Now our next step on this journey is just minutes from now when we'll attempt the first test flight of our heavy-lift launch vehicle. Now there have been many challenges along this long road, and it has not been easy. But no matter what happens today, it has all been worth it. Now, one of the many challenges we're hoping to overcome with this test flight is the recovery of all 3 cores of the Falcon Heavy first stage. Although we have demonstrated success with the recovery of a single core, 3 is on a whole nother level. So let's check in with Michael to get an overview of what that story may look like.
At SpaceX, our primary goal is to enable people to live on other planets, most notably Mars. But it's hard to do this without dramatically lowering the cost of access to space. And the best to accomplish that is to reuse as much of the rocket as possible. So we've been successful at landing and reusing Falcon 9 rockets for over 2 years now. In fact, to continue this trend of reusability. So today, we'll be attempting to recover all 3 of the first stage cores by using both of our landing methods, by land and by sea. So the side boosters have actually been used before on missions TICOM 8 and CRS 9. And at the time of booster separation, during ascent, the side cores will still be going slowly enough to turn around. So it makes sense to return them to Cape. They'll be executing a 3-burn maneuver to get them back to landing zones 1 and 2 and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. You may have heard of landing zone 1. Landing zone 2 is an identical landing pad right next to it for Falcon Heavy landings. The center core will be going too fast to efficiently return it to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So we're going to use the autonomous spaceport drone ship to catch it about 300 miles off the Florida coast. It will also be executing 3 burns to get there. So, if all goes well after launch, we'll have 3 first stage cores back on Earth, 2 for the second time, and a wealth of data for perfecting airplane-like operation in the future. So, countdown is still proceeding nominally, so let's check in again on how Falcon Heavy is doing.
We just passed T-minus 12 minutes in the countdown of the test flight of Falcon Heavy. Fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. The first stage is also loaded with fuel, except for a small top-off that'll happen between T-minus 7 minutes and T-minus 6 minutes. Our major activity now is loading liquid oxygen on the boosters and the second stage. Liquid oxygen propellant loading on the first stages will end between T-minus 4 minutes and T-minus